Hey folks, I want to tell you about a man in the Bible called Naaman. He was in the Old Testament and he was in the army. He fought for Syria and he was high up in the ranks. The thing about Naaman, though, is he had leprosy. He was a leper. And back in the day, in ancient times, lepers, they had to walk through the streets ringing bells to make sure people didn't come up close to them because they would contract leprosy. Leprosy was highly contagious. It's not really a disease that you hear very much of nowadays, presumably because there's so many treatments around for it. But you do still come across it in some third world countries. Now, if you have eczema, you know, if you have a really severe case of eczema, particularly if it's on your face, you know what it's like to be kind of shunned. You know what it's like to be avoided in the street as if you have a disease like leprosy. And it was one of the most humbling things. You know, having eczema is the most humbling thing that I've ever experienced because you're avoided. People avoid you. People behave as if you're contagious. But obviously we know that eczema is the visual representation of just toxin coming out of the skin. So around about this time, Naaman was fighting for the Syrian army, and the army had taken captive a girl from the Israeli camp. And this girl was working in Naaman's house, and she said to Naaman, I think it was Naaman's wife, look, there's this prophet back in Israel that can help Naaman. He can heal Naaman's leprosy. And so Naaman managed to get himself sent off to Israel and went to see the Israeli king, but the king was really not happy to see him. However, the prophet Elisha stepped forward and said to Naaman, come and see me directly. So Naaman, this high-ranking member of the army with all of his horses and chariots, goes off to see this prophet Elisha. But Elisha, he doesn't come out to see him himself. He just sends his messenger out, and the messenger says, go and wash in the River Jordan 7 times. And I don't know what the River Jordan was like back then, but I saw it a few years ago, and it's not a grand or a royal kind of a place. It's a very humble place. And Naaman, you know, he was expecting this great show. He was expecting the prophet to come out and call upon the Lord and bring this healing. But no, it's just a simple message sent through the messenger, and he was fuming. Naaman was so angry, and he went off in a rage. However, Naaman's servants came and had a quiet word with him and said, look, if that prophet had come out and given you this great command, you would have done what he said, wouldn't you? So, since the command is simple, why not give it a go? Why not do it? So he did it. He went off and he washed in the River Jordan 7 times, and he was healed. He healed his skin, and it says that his skin was like the skin of a young child. And this happened because he had the humility he had several stages of humility there. He had the humility to listen to that girl who was essentially a servant in his house. He then had the humility to come to Israel, who I believe may have been at war with Syria at the time, and grovel to the king of Israel. And then he had the humility in the end to listen to his servants, who suggested going and actually taking this humble advice from the prophet, and it resulted in his skin being healed. Not consuming animal products is a humbling thing because we take on this less dominant mindset. We have less of a consumer mindset, and we treat with respect these other beings that have less intelligence than us. And in return, we get less stress because we don't have the stress on our internal organs to deal with that harsh, problematic animal protein. You know, Dr. Greger has a video, Uprooting the Leading Causes of Death, link down below. I think the top 14, the 14 of the top 15 killers in the US can be treated, if not reversed, by the plant-based diet. Yet so few people are willing to give it a go. And it's such a strange one because it's almost as if the simplicity of the solution is not big enough for their ego. It's not big enough and me too, I was there, not big enough for my ego. It was not big enough for my self-sophistication, not big enough for my level of intelligence. I want to go to a glorified drug dealer. I want to go to a man in a suit. I want to go to a man with a degree who can tell me this is the sophisticated concoction of lotion or potion that you need to consume to deal with this complex issue that you have in your life. But the solution is so simple, and so few seem to have the humility to step down And really, I'm so grateful for eczema because, like I say, it was so humbling to be in that situation. It was so humbling to get to that point of desperation where you learn to start judging by results, not theory. You learn to perceive the truth. You learn to just sniff through the money, sniff through all of the red herrings that lie there to confuse us. And we see the truth. The truth is, always will be, always has been a plant-based diet. Whole foods, low fat, as organic as possible. High fruit, plant-based diet, sleep, water, sugar, sun, sport. These are the things that are going to heal you, not the drugs, not the lotions, not the potions.